Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Hi everybody, Russ and My Hammers 11. Hope you are all safe and well. If you channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icons made of it. Tell me, put new content on as always. Like take our channels, post on it. Oh, if I could do it in one breath. Oh, anyway, let's check out the description below. We've got yes, we've interviewed Ray Winston. Yes, we've interviewed Harry Redknapp, Colton Cole, Trevor Sinclair, John Hartson, Tony Cotty, McAvenny, but we've got the one we've always wanted. It's taken a year, but we've got the man, the myth, the legend, West Ham Fan TV's Graham. How are you doing, Graham?
I'm good, thanks, mate. I'm good. It's very kind of you to say that. Very much your West Ham royalty, mate. You know,
I think we all.
to be on.
Well,
I'm honoured to be on.
Well, I'm honoured to have you on because, like I said, we've had like the Amouge Bouche, we've had Nicky, we've had Dan, we've had Ryan, we've had Scott, we've had Jazz, we've had a few of them, but this is like the main course, the one everyone's been waiting for. So
it's taken a while to get there, but we've got there.
We've got there. Good things come to those that wait, Graham.
That's it, mate. That's it.
How are you? That's the main thing.
I'm very good, thanks, mate. Had a game today, so feeling it a little bit in the old legs at the minute. So
did you win?
We did 5-1, so we won our little league because it was all like down because of the COVID. They broke it down in little mini leagues, so it was between us and the team we were playing. And it was one of those where we could have lost 1-0 and still won it, but we decided we were going to win 5-1.
Oh, so, all out. Could have played for the draw. Could have played for the draw. No,
we don't do that.
All or nothing.
How have you been? You all right?
I've been all right. I've been all right today. Yeah, it's we're recording this. This will go out. It'll go out on Tuesday. This is Sunday. Yeah, it's a bit rainy today, and it's been a bit rainy. Yeah, cooked a nice dinner today, so that was good. So yeah, it's not too bad as always. Yesterday disappointment. I'm fine now. You know, yesterday was annoying, but hey, good sleep. Good sleep and a curry, and the other way around. A curry and a good sleep, and I've woken up and I don't want to sleep and have a curry. It'd be very messy in the bed. But yeah, curry and a good sleep. It does. And Sheffield United doing us a favour today against Everton is great as well.
Unusually, Sheffield United.
Unusually.
I'm sure their fans are absolutely devastated. They've done us a favour, but. I'll
take it, man. I think you know what. I think any European football, whether it was the Champions League, the Europa League, or the Conference, is brilliant for West Ham. And
definitely.
Do you know what I mean? I just think it's frustration. What could have been, but come on, Gray. We've been fans long enough.
We stayed up by 5 points last year, and the other week we were disappointed because Everton denied us a Champions League spot. Who would have thought at the start of the season we would have said that?
Exactly.
You know, it's been whatever happens, it's been a fantastic season.
It has. It really, really has. And I think it's who's your hammer of the year?
Sufal, I'd say.
Yeah,
he's been immense this year. Absolutely immense.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. I think for me, it was always. I mean, it was Sufal quite early on this season, and then it was always like I didn't think he was going to get hammer of the year potentially because he was so consistent. I mean, he's like, a lot of parallels to him and Tim Breaker. You know, Tim Breaker was always a 7 out of 10, but never got hammer of the year. You know, he's always consistent. Yeah. But I mean, everyone else has sort of fallen by the wayside a little bit. You know, got injured or you know,
just little drops in form, isn't it? You know, but he's been solid, like straight line all the way.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't remember him having even a slightly off game. To be honest,
no.
that I can think of. He's been fantastic.
He has been. I think he's great. No, I think he's great, and I mean both of them. I mean, I think it's going to be him and Souček, one or two. I don't know what way round, but it's just. I mean, for them, it's. I know Souček's been a little bit. Last few games, he hasn't been all that, and I think Deck being injured has made a massive dent in his performance because they work off each other as a pairing. But I'm not being funny. At the end of the day, it's it's a season that counts. And as I said, he's I think Souček's obviously been fantastic all season. But he's right. I think Sufal has just been like consistent, like 7 8s all season. So And I mean, funny, the lad turned up. I remember when he turned up as well. It's very similar to Craig Dawson, isn't it? When we signed this Czech boy for 5 million, we're like,
Yeah.
5 million. What the fuck can you get 5 million? Yeah, but he's just been brilliant. Hasn't he? Absolutely missed the consistency. Best right back, I'd say, this season. Consistency. So obviously Reece James, I think, is good, but I don't think obviously Kufa's been playing so much. But he's my hammer of the year too, man. I think it'd be great to see those two get it. Definitely.
Oh yeah, I'd love it. Yeah, it'd be nice if they could present it maybe the start of next season when the crowds are back. Might be nice if they could sort of present them on the pitch then. So and obviously,
I think that because I know that
through the tannoy.
Well, no, I just literally I'm the button monkey. That's what I am. As Sean says, I'm the button monkey. That's why I don't push the buttons. But yeah, no, I think there's because I think the Bame Hammers. I think they did their one. It was Souček, and they reckon it's been presented on the pitch pre-match against Southampton. So I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea. I'm from Barcelona. I know nothing. So I'd love to know what's going on. But it's good. I mean, it's good to get 10,000 in. I think it's great.
Oh it'd be great. I mean, you saw the FA Cup yesterday.
Oh yeah, also
even having the smaller crowd. Was it? They had 6,000 each. Was it? Still made all the difference.
Yeah, something like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere was still, bearing in mind what it's been like over there. We know, I mean, you'd know better because you've been over there. Like when we watch it on the telly, they put the crowd noises on. Yeah, but you'll know better than like being at the ground.
It's awful. It's awful. So much. I used to like it because it used to be quite nice because I used to open the door and I could hear like Moyes and Kevin Nolan, like you'd hear him shout like from all the way. Obviously, travelled straight up, didn't it? But I remember when we had the 2,500 from the Man United game, and they made such a racket. I could hear it through because my box is all like soundproofed, but you could hear it through, and like, wow. So 10,000 is going to be like, whoa. And then obviously when 60 come back, it'd be like, But I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing for Southampton now. I just think it's going to be great into the season, and there's no whatever, as long as And also, it means if we finish sixth, we finish above Tottenham as well. So that'd be a nice double, wouldn't it?
Doesn't happen very often. So we've got to enjoy it when we can.
You're totally right, Greg. I think you've got to enjoy it where you can, because I think too often, I think we're always, we've been hardened by many, 41 years without winning anything. And so we've got this sort of like callous, so we're sort of like impervious to enjoying ourselves. We're always worried that something's going to happen, and it's like that. I remember when we had the run of obviously the Newcastle game and obviously Chelsea and Everton, and I was getting texts from people going, "Oh, thank God we're back." Oh, they weren't used to
our West Ham back.
They're not used to riding high in the division, top of the division. Like, oh, thank you. Like calamity mistakes, but that's why we love. That's why I love it, because I just think it's just, I wouldn't want us, and it's really weird. I don't think I'd want us to be successful, like Man City. I know it seems stupid, but I think there's, I know people sort of say they go to it. Oh, the identity of the club's gone down and stuff like that. I think if we started winning everything, I think then we become more commercially, there's, and then we end up being like Man City. I wouldn't want to be like Man City. I don't think I would.
I mean, the thing is, I've got like mates. He's followed Chelsea since the 70s. So he's seen them up and down through the divisions and all that, And he said he took. His boys obviously now 20, 21, I think. And he said, like when he took him over, it's not the same. It's a different type of fan over there now.
Yeah, I get that.
And I don't know whether that just makes us grumpy old gits, but it's.
I think it's been passed on though, Gray. I think you said you said your mate and his son, and it's my granddad when he first took me, he sort of passed that sort of West Hamness, and like so I think it's different with us because we've never had that success, and when we have, it was so long ago that I think I still find it funny in a way that we revere a team that finished third. So 85-86, like, oh yeah, they kept finished third. It's like brilliant. But I know we love them, but it just seems if you're looking at it from outsider's perspective, it looks a bit strange. But It's because we've got to hang on to something, haven't we? Something, some glimmer of hope.
We've got to have a little nibble every now and again, haven't we? So
yeah, a little nibble, a little cup
crumb.
run, a little. That's what we want. A little like foray into Europe. That's what we want. And as we were saying before we started, now it's not necessarily if we finish 5th, 6th, or 7th for me. Now it's where we finish next year. If we finish next year 7th, then that's progress. That's what I'm excited about. Yeah, and I think, and I think it seems with the management we've got, like Moyes and obviously the boys he's got there. There's I can't remember the last time, maybe even Big Sam, really, that there was like a plan. Do you know what I mean? It's like Big Sam came in. He said, "Right, I'm going to get you promoted. I'm going to get Kevin Nolan, and I'm going to get this person. I'm just basically going to make a team that's hard to beat. We'll get promoted." And we got promoted. For skin of our teeth, we got promoted. And there was a plan of action. I think, Slav, I didn't really, there wasn't like a plan. It's like give the ball to Payet. When Payet was injured, we were shit. Pellegrini, let's just throw money and buy all these players and do what I do at Man City, but I haven't got the team around me and the infrastructure for it to work. So again, there was no plan. But for Moyes, it seems he's got a plan. He's going back to the beginning. And I know there's frustration that we didn't buy anyone in January. I trust the process.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Moyes, it looks like he's not interested in the big money signings,
No.
but he wants to find the gems, from the Championship, or like with Soufal and Souček, find them in like the Czech League or the Hungary. He's not interested in spending 70 mil on one player.
Yeah,
and I quite like that, to be honest.
I think we like it though. That's like the West Ham way, isn't it? The West Ham way, so to speak, is boys from the academy. It's boys giving them a go, and it's the same principle. Albeit, I know they're not coming through the academy, but you're going to the Czech Republic and getting these boys or Championship boys, and you're giving them a go. And if you put enough faith in them, they'll go for it. And so I think that's more. I know Big Sam always criticised us for the West Ham way, but that is the West Ham way. It's not buying your way out of trouble. It's developing players, and I mean, you want to see someone come in who's a youngster, and you want or a player, as you said, like what the Czech boys come over, get into the team, and grow to become arguably two of the best players in the Premier League this season, and costing us 20 million for the pair of them. It's just mental. And that's what I think that is inherent about being West Ham. So it is about having the right scouting, the right just analytics department. So it's like you look at Brentford. If we're looking at Ivor Toney, I don't want to buy Ivor Toney. I want to buy the person that Brentford are going to buy after Ivor Toney, because you'll get him for like next to nothing, and he'll be so it's like but then the same thing. It's giving the manager time to do it, isn't it? It's great developing players, but you want result. Football is a weird game. You need 5 or 6 shit results, and you're out on your limb. That's not how you're going to develop a team. But yeah, see, you don't get this on West Ham Fan TV. You just get Nicky talking about Poland stories and stuff like that. That's what you get. So has he finished doing his Poland story yet? I don't know yet. I'm sure he has.
Right, I have heard it a couple of times. Yeah, it is a good story though. It is a good story, to be fair.
Good story. He is good little Jackanory, but
mate,
right. Anyway,
honestly, he used to phone me at work and he'd go, "Oh, this is happening." Like Nicky's one of them people. If anything's going to happen, like this completely, it'll happen. So
happened to him.
if you go out on a night out with him, don't stay next to him. If something's going to happen, it'll happen to him.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know what you mean. It's like with me, it's like my wife. If there's like when we used to go, when people used to get on the train and stuff like that, seemed ages ago. That was if there was an old person, or maybe someone who was just slightly, a sandwich less of a picnic, they would end up talking to my wife, and my wife would talk back to them. And they would have or anything like that. It's the same with me. If I'm on holiday and I hear there's a Cockney voice, and it's like I see a West Ham shirt or a Chelsea or Arsenal shirt, my wife tuts, because she knows in about an hour's time we're going to be at the bar. Yeah, I've got John. Good old Johnny. He lives in Aldchurch. And, it's always someone we bash. I remember once we were and this is it sounds so pretentious, but we were on a cruise we were on a European cruise, and my daughter was playing with this kid And we ended up I chatted to the dad because we obviously the accent seemed similar. And he was like, "Oh, where are you from?" I said, "Oh, Hornchurch." Oh, yeah, my friend did it. My sister, no, my uncle, was it cousin? So lives in Hornchurch. Turned out that his nephew was in the same class as my daughter at school, and so all these it's just all these always happens. But yeah, oh, I can't wait. Have you been? How many jabs you had yet, Gray?
I've only had one. I got my second one in July.
Oh, nearly, mate.
My first one on the 6th. So yeah, 22nd of July. I think I'll have to double check it. But
they'll move it forward. They're moving them all forward, aren't they? Trying to get them all done. Yeah, that'd be good. At least there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, how have you coped? How have you coped over like the last 15 months, something like that?
I mean, I've been waiting for mine all the way through. So
yeah,
I'm not having to get on a train, and because I used to hate getting the train in the morning. So I love just get like my commute now is get up, go and make a cup of tea, come up into my little office, log on. That's it, done. I love it.
Know, brilliant. And there's and then your commute home is log off, go down, have a cup of tea. It's brilliant. Put the dinner on. I know that's brilliant. I love it. I know what you mean. I think the last time I got the train, I figured it out, was actually when the Man United game. That was the last time I got the train.
Oh yeah.
And the time after that was the Southampton game, because I think my office shut like pretty much as before that Southampton game. So so the next time I'm going to get a train is this Southampton game because so it's all to do with West Ham. Anyway, to do with West Ham, great. 16 minutes in, first question. Why West Ham, man? Why is it your club? So I know I hear you talking so passionately on the West Ham, the Friday Night Pints and stuff, but why is it your club?
Well, for one, it was my local team. I grew up in East Ham. But all my family, like my dad, my uncles and that, were all season ticket holders, Chicken Run and all that. So it was only ever going to be West Ham.
Yeah.
So I got them to thank for like 40 odd years of misery.
Thank
them. But I mean, I say my earliest memory was my mum always tells me the story when we won the cup. I was nearly 4.
Yeah.
And my mum was heavily pregnant. Like she gave birth to my brother about 2 weeks later. So my dad had been to Wembley, come back. They was all out on the lash.
Yeah.
Then next day, because we only lived about like 5-minute walk from the town hall. So obviously they're parading the cup, and my mum's like, "No, you're taking him with you. You left me on my own yesterday. Like you're taking him with you." And that's one of my earliest memories is being on my dad's shoulders up at the town hall when they brought the cup out onto the balcony. And that was it really for me. I say my dad took me to a few reserve games, and then I remember my first team game was the 10-0 Bury.
Wow.
And I remember walking down to the ground, and my dad's like, because we've been to the reserve games, and some of the reserve games you get like 4-3s, 4-alls, 5-all, and all that,
Yeah.
And my dad's like, this is first team football.
It's not always like that.
Might be 1-0, might be 0-0. And I'm like, oh, okay then. So then obviously we win 10-0. Like, oh, Dad, when we going again. That was it. I was hooked. It was there was no going back from there, and it was. I was talking to my uncle earlier about it actually, because he watches all your stuff, and I was talking to him about it. Said I was coming on, and we were just talking about why you follow West Ham.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't. I'm sure other fans of other clubs say the same thing, but and you'll probably feel the same. There's a certain atmosphere around the club, like on a match day, like when you go to the ground, especially the old ground as well.
Yeah.
I used to. It wasn't just it was the smells.
Yeah.
And the sounds. It was. So you should walk down the Barking Road, and you could see the floodlights glowing.
Yeah.
And then you get in, and as you turned onto Green Street, you smell the burgers and the hot dogs.
Yeah.
And I say the first time I walked up, because we was in the West Stand, the old West Stand.
Yeah.
And as you come up the steps, and I could smell like the grass and the wooden seats.
Yeah.
And all that, and I was hooked. That was it. Yeah. That was it for me. There was no other team for me. That was it. And it was. I was saying I was fortunate enough at the old ground to go sort of many times and see some great games over. Also see us lose to some
Yeah.
You know, like third, fourth division teams over there.
That's
But
just the way.
like
Yeah.
it's West Ham, isn't it? That's
It is.
part of being West Ham.
It is. And I don't think it's necessarily about the result, to be honest. It's exactly what you said. I think it's sort of, I think that's I think people have realised over the last, God, I figured it out. It must have been over 20 games we've had behind closed doors, I reckon. Must be at least, maybe even more. I don't know. I did figure it out. I need to figure it out just because it's good to know. But it's not about the game. It's not about the result. I mean, the result is great now because obviously we don't have that, as you said, going to the pub beforehand, going to the beer art, doesn't win or lose on the booze type thing. You know, we've gone through it long enough. You know, all these different, you know, if we win or is it losing to some third or fourth division team at the time in the cup, and it's not necessarily about the results. I mean, the results now are all important because we haven't got that experience, that sort of go into the game. Although it's great to win, it's brilliant to win, but you know, it's like we've been hardened, so we know. You know, it's like this season. I mean, obviously, I'm still there, so you know, my wife knows when we've lost, because I'll come in and I'll basically unseries link match of the day, and have a strop on for the most of it. But then Sunday I read the paper, and then Monday I'm all right. You know, right, who we got on Saturday type thing, and that's always been the way. He says, you know, you know. I've never won anything in my lifetime. I was born in 81, so I've never won anything in my lifetime, apart from the Interstate Cup and a few Betways. Well, we always get to the final of the Betway Cups. That's like no one ever picks up on that fact, you know. Some weird match fixing there, but so it is about it's about the smells. It's that burger smell. That's the thing that always takes me back to the old ground, and with, you know, going to see with my granddad and stuff like that. It's that burger onion smell, that cheap. No idea what meat was in those burgers, particularly it was a pound on the way home, wasn't it?
Non-specific, I think.
Non-specific, just burger, not even beef burger, just burger. Meat. Wasn't it?
I mean, the smell that I always remember was Bovril and cheese and onion crisps. So that's what I always go. They go, can I have Bovril? Might they buy me a bag of cheese or a Twix or something, you know? But it's always Bovril. I always remember that smell.
Oh,
so that's why I always get a little bit nostalgic around Bovril.
Yes, the other day I walked past and I couldn't find that. And it's a cheap burger smell, and I walked past it's a few months ago actually. I walked past like a fish and chip shop, and they obviously were frying the same burgers or something like that, and it just. I just literally could smell it. It took me straight. It's weird, isn't it, with smells? Or, you know, someone walks past and it's like a you know, your nan's perfume, and it's weird how it all worked. And it just took me straight back to we weren't, because I'm not a pie and mash fan. You know, I am not a pie and mash. I'm not a proper East End. No, I'm not.
I love a bit of pie and mash.
Oh, my wife loves it. Mother-in-law loves it. I don't like it. So, but we were always always the fish and chip shop on the corner of Barking Road. That was my always thing we used to go to, and took me straight back there. And you know, my granddad probably passed like 20 years ago, something like that. Went straight back there. It's really funny how it works, and just like wow. But it's a sensory thing, and I think, you know, and it is that cut grass smell. I think that's what people miss a lot, is that cut grass. Particularly at the end of the game, isn't it? When it's all been cut up and you just get that smell wafting up, and it's been wet.
It's been raining as well.
Yeah, it's wet, and the wet chairs and all the wet wood.
I'll tell you what else gets me. You'll appreciate this one. Do you remember it was the echoey tunnel system over there? Like when they used to play the songs, it sounded like they was playing it in stereo, like it was echoey, wasn't it?
So
but
bad.
For some reason, I always remember that as well.
Yeah, it's it didn't improve it, to be honest. I remember when when we finished the last game of the bowling. I remember they were ripping stuff out, and I found a tape deck, and I was still using a tape deck to quite late on, to be honest, at that place, and it was still, and it had a tape in there. It was still queued up to Stop Hammer Time by MC Hammer. You see, still queued up, just in case I needed to drop it. But yeah. Oh yeah, well, memories. It's good. No, it's good fun, isn't it? It's good fun looking back and you know, and also looking forward as well. Because I think, you know, you're right. I think now everyone's going to go back to London Stadium. I think everyone's going to see their friends, see people they haven't seen for over a year. Unfortunately, probably not see some people as well that you sit around. They might, you know, pass or Like decided not to go back. It's going to be. I think it's going to be emotional when everyone's back there. That first game of the season next season, whatever league we're in, because we're probably playing qualifiers before the big season starts. So it's going to be a huge thing. So yeah, it'd be good, man. It'd be good. But that 10,000 Southampton will make a racket. So I'm looking forward to that. I think a lot of people end up going in the pubs and the supporters bars and things beforehand, even if they're haven't got a ticket, I believe. But we'll see. It doesn't matter.
I reckon it'll be about 50,000 around the grand anyway. But.
Easy, man, easy. And too right, man. So, and Bury being your first game as well. It's like, once in.
I know, it was all downhill from there. There was no.
Yeah, exactly. They've set you. I think in like the history, I think they'd never hit. That was the first time I think they hit double figures in a competitive fixture as West Ham. In the end, or something like that, I think. As brilliant.
I'm thinking, like 80 we won the cup, 81 win the League Cup final. 80, 81 get promoted, 86 nearly win the league. You're thinking, this is great, and then
brilliant. And fuck all since
like that, all the way staying it all the way.
Oh, bless them. Yeah, I think I had a more. My first game was the complete opposite. Well, it wasn't if we won the game, but we were in the we were in the league or Division 1 at the time, or Division 2. No, it was Division 1 where they were in Premier League, and we played Oxford United, and Oxford United scored after 30 seconds, and so and I remember it clear as day because my granddad turned to me and went, "Get used to this. You've got a whole lifetime of this." And I did not believe him at the time. We went. I think Julian scored an equaliser. I think Julian scored 2 goals. We won 5-3.
Yeah.
But it was that's always rings true. Every time we play shit or we play a really disciplined, it's like the weekend, that Brighton game, all I could hear is my granddad going, I told you.
Yeah.
Told you
this was going to happen.
I told you it's going to happen, Russ. Just listen to me. It's still surprising me how he ended up getting to the game safely every week, because he was blind as a bat and he drove every day, every game. I still don't. He used to do this thing. He had like some. I don't know. I love the way we just do tangents, but he had this Cavalier, Vauxhall Cavalier, and he was really proud of it. And and if the space, because obviously we used to park around the streets where it was people put their bins out and stuff like that, and if there's like a car in front, it was just a bit too tight. He would move the car. He would go bumper to bumper,
or just nudge it,
and and like the car in front, there's no space left at all. And he just whistles like with his keys off. Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Right. But it's all the stories, isn't it? And as you say, you travel away and stuff like that, and hopefully, as I said, European tour next year, whatever it's going to be. Astra Gugu have just got through to the remaining cup final, though. Just saying.
It's going to happen in the next 3 years.
I just want a picture of that. I just want a picture of West Ham clips when he puts that dog when it's like it's happening again. That's going to be my screensaver. But that's great, isn't it? As you said, just travel. It's abroad and just West Ham abroad and playing. As I said, yes, it would have been amazing to see us in the Champions League and stuff like that. But realistically, wherever we go, it's going to be a giggle. So,
we always have a laugh, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, people still talk about Mets and stuff like that in '99, and that was Mets. It wasn't like Paris, or it was Mets, and people still talk about that game and Stenar Bucharest and stuff like that. And I just think we should. I'm looking forward to whatever competition we're in, who we draw, because I think we'll have a giggle anyway. That's all it is, a West Ham lot. That's what I look forward to. And you lot will be back outside doing your interviews anyway, so that's all good.
Yeah, that's it. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people have missed as well. And I know you guys have missed that a lot as well. Sort of that interaction.
Yeah, just miss seeing people. Because we've got the regulars that coming up March. I haven't been there, and I can be loads of new people coming over. It's always nice to meet new people. It's missed all that. So really. I think
we have. Yeah, I mean, we've done 300 and something interviews over the last year, and I haven't met any of them. For like apart from on the computer screen, apart from my best mate, I got him on like early doors because I was looking for some guests, but he's the only one I've actually physically met. And so You know, I can't wait till he can start, you know, bumping into people on the train, going to the games, and oh, Russ, it's how you doing, mate? You know, it's like I spoke to a guy the other day. He's like, "Were you drinking at Henry's last Sunday?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was." And he went, "Oh, I saw you. Why don't you come and say hello to me?" Oh, because I haven't met you before. I was like, "Oh, just come and say hello, isn't it?" Well, it's just the mystique, isn't it? It's just you know the mystique of it all, Graham. That's what it is. But yeah,
that's it, man. That's it.
being West Ham royalty, Graham, it's the trouble, isn't it? You know, you're the same,
that's
isn't it? It's
it,
like,
mate.
you know,
People intimidated by you. That's the thing.
Intimidated. If they really saw me, they wouldn't be intimidated. I tell you. Right, okay. Let's go for your Hammers 11 because I know you've been agonising about this. There's been last minute changes.
Yes.
There's been late nights. I know there's been. I liken it. I can imagine it a bit like, you know, in the X Factor when like Simon Cowell's doing his final 5 and you've got Polaroids of like Marco Boogers, Ili Dimitrescu, David Michele, Ilian, Franco, and you just can't decide. And you have to go, I've got to sleep on it. Got to sleep on it. But yeah. Late nights.
We'll deal with it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've got my final 11 about 2 hours ago. Literally about 2 hours ago.
God, that is late. That is late nights. Right. Okay. So let's so you know, obviously everyone we get on the channel, apart from Harry Redknapp, Nigel Coker and Ian Bishop, have given the Hammers 11. The idea is you pick whoever you want, whatever criteria. Doesn't matter to be the best, it'll be favourites. What doesn't matter at all. But the only rules, you have to be alive to have seen them play. To be honest, you've got, you know, in terms of modern West Ham history, you know, you've been alive to seen a lot of the players. I imagine the good players as well, and not so good. And so it's only so. Otherwise, you know, if you put your dream 11, you'd have Bobby Moore in there. You'd have. I never saw Bobby Moore play. I didn't see Billy Bonds play. I didn't see Trevor Brooking play. I saw them all manage, or those two manage, but didn't see him play. So I was somewhat curtailed by that. But we still have some good players. Right. So who's going to go in goal for the Graham 11?
Well, there's only one for me, and I've had the great honour and pleasure of meeting and interviewing him, and that is Big Phil Parks. In my opinion, the best keeper we've had. In my opinion, like in my lifetime, the best keeper we've had. He was immense, and I didn't realise just how tall he was until I met him. I stood next to him. I shook his hand, and my hand just disappeared into his hand.
Yeah,
and he's a real gentleman. Such a nice fella. But what a keeper he was.
Yeah.
What a keeper. I mean, he seemed to fill the goal.
Yeah.
Now, when you watched him, he looked like he filled the goal. And I'll be honest, I'm sure he may have. You know, people watching this may remember him, but I don't ever remember him really making a mistake in all the years he played for us.
Yeah.
I mean, one game that really stands out for me was 86. It was the FA Cup 5th round replay at Old Trafford.
Yes,
we won 2-0. Jeff White, Frank McAvenny, and he was. They could have still been playing now, and they wouldn't have beat him. He was believable that day, absolutely unbeatable. He was fantastic.
And sometimes and I know it happens a bit with, you know, with some keepers where they have a worldie, like Ludo used to have a worldie against Man United and stuff like that. But it seems, by talking to people who obviously saw Phil play, that it wasn't like a one-off. It was like, as you said, you know, it wasn't like a couple of times a season. It was consistently. He was hard to beat consistently. It was just, and I think that's what it is. It's about consistency, isn't it, with goalkeepers? And he's just phenomenal. And the thing is, I know I'm going to be hopefully interviewing him relatively soon, and I'm about 5'0", and so I don't know. I'm going to set up the camera more than anything.
He's massive. I think he's about 6'5". I think he is. He's
something like that. But then the hair as well is like another foot with the afro, not the afro, with the mullet. So he's got he's a bit tall here, but as you said, I think, you know, but goalkeeper's been a position that we've been relatively strong in, isn't it? So as you said, you had Phil, you had Ludo, you had Robert Green, you had Shaka, you had UC did a great job for us, I thought. And, Fabianski now, you've always been good goalkeepers. I mean, Adrian had his moments, but he was still a relatively good goalkeeper for us. So,
David James was good for us
and
well,
Jamo, I forgot Jamo, he's going to kill me. Yeah. Craig Forrest as well. God, dear Jesus.
Yeah.
We've had some good keepers.
Jimmy Walker was decent.
Oh, sorry.
Jimmy Walker was good for it.
Jimmy was brilliant because I know.
We've interviewed him as well. He's a lovely fella.
He's a top boy, isn't he? He's brilliant. I love Jimmy. He's so funny. When we had him on, we did a quiz. We had a quiz night with him. It was him, Kevin Keane, Trevor Sinclair, and Steve Jones. Oh, it's brilliant. And then Jimmy sent me a message about, I think because we do it at 9:00. He sent me a photo about 5:00 with a glass of red wine. Just warming up, and I'm like, oh Christ! And we did this Wheel of Fortune thing, and it was like the actual player was Shaka Hislop, and like he couldn't get it. It was like literally SH blank K blank. He just couldn't get. I'm gonna put M for November, and just like Kevin Kidd. Oh, it's so funny. But I love him. I love Jim. He's the top boy. Yeah. Right, so we put Parks in. Good old Parks. He's in. Right, let's go. Who's your first defender?
They go left back, yeah?
Yep.
Start off at left back. Julian Dix.
Yeah. First name on the team sheet.
Absolute. But the thing is, I think a lot of fans from other clubs I would think would just remember him as a hard tackler.
Yeah.
And no nonsense. But he could play. Yeah. He was very good on the ball, good passer ball. And bearing in mind he's not that tall, he's a very good header of the ball as well. He was and very Ray Stewart-esque with his penalty taking as well.
Yeah.
He's and as a left back myself, I always appreciate good left backs.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was he fantastic for us in 2 spells.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I think a lot of fans of other clubs just think he was all about the tackles and the getting stuck in, right? But he was actually a very good player. He could actually get the ball down and play. He had a beautiful left foot, sweet left foot, or still has.
Oh, he was. Oh, he still is. Yeah. I mean, I think you're totally right, man. I think also, but I think that you get that, with certain players. I mean, we've had it recently with Declan Rice, wasn't it? No one outside of West Ham really got Declan Rice, and because they don't watch him play 90 minutes. And Julian was the same. Yeah, he liked to tackle. He liked to put it in there. But I think that's why he endeared himself to West Ham fans, because he could do that. And then he would ping a 30-yard. But he wasn't just like a yob. He'd then ping a 30-yard ball, or take a free kick or a penalty or come, running for a header. And he always used to do this thing. I used to remember vividly. He always used to, if he was running to the byline, like the ball was coming over on the touchline and the player was coming behind him, he'd always like tip it over him, like the guy behind him, and flick it over his head. I remember he did it to Cantona once when we played Man United, and Cantona just stood there and just went, and he's like, that's praise in itself. If
quality, appreciating quality.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Julian's always got a soft spot in my place in my heart because he scored the first West Ham goal I ever saw. So, he'll always, and I told him that. He went, yeah, but I scored 2 that day, Russ. I know you scored 2, but the first goal was, it was special. It was like one of his 30 yards pings in the top corner, like he always used to do. Yeah, the top boy. But I think with Julian, I don't think the only thing I think we missed the trick on when he obviously came back as a coach, whatever his title was. I don't think we made enough of that. Do you know what I mean? We had like a cult hero playing in our coaching staff, and it was almost like it was not an afterthought, but it's almost like I don't think we made enough of that. Do you know what I mean? It was always like it was great he was there, but it was like I think we could have made a lot more of that, and maybe about. I think it's more like Julian himself, though. He's always quite not a shy man, but he's quite understated, isn't he? So I think maybe he didn't want the fanfare of him being there because he's not the manager. I understand, but because I know when we spoke to him, we talked about the last game at the Bowling, and we wanted to put him in a taxi, one of the taxis, and he didn't want any of it. So we had like these 2 empty taxis outside because Billy's one didn't turn up. Billy didn't turn up for his either. So and he's like, it looked like an Uber station at the back, with all these taxis, and 2 weren't filled in because Julian didn't want to do it because he didn't want to, it was like fair enough, But we'll put Julian in. Absolute phenomenal player for us. Right, so Julian's in, left back. Who's next? Who's the next one?
First centre half, Alvin Martin.
Alvin Martin, got no hair, but we don't care.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I do remember him playing when he had a bit of hair, vaguely, back in the day. But again, he was another. He was like made out of steel. Right, he put his head in where a lot of people wouldn't put their feet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He was again another player that I don't ever really remember him making a mistake in a game. He was just so he'd get stuck in, he'd put his head in, and you've seen the scar on his forehead and all that, the amount of time he took away. He was but again, another one who could play a bit as well,
Yeah, he could. Definitely.
I don't think he gets, like, when people talk about sort of great players we've had over the years, like, I don't think he gets enough of a mention for me, personally. Yeah. I think he's very underrated amongst.
But do you think it's because he's in the same way we was talking about Soufal and Tim Breaker and people like that, because he was so consistent, he was almost part of the furniture because he had been there for God knows how many years, and he was almost like, oh, it's Alvin. And I think you don't, and it's no disrespect, but you almost like expect it, and you take it for granted a little bit. And I think that's why when Mark leaves, I think we've not taken him for granted, but I think it's almost like because he's part of the furniture. When you're not there, you're like, and it's like if Alvin wasn't playing or when he retired, and the defense wasn't as strong, you couldn't really put your finger on it. I was because Alvin's not here anymore, and I think that's what happens with some players. It's only after you appreciate them, because I was the same. Tim Breaker was my one. I didn't appreciate Tim Breaker in that early 90s period when I was supporting them, because he wasn't scoring the goals. He was there, he was solid. But obviously now it's like, exactly, a hell of a player. But now, maybe because I'm looking at how impressive Soufal is, maybe because I'm slightly older now, it's not about who scores the goals, it's about commitment and and you're thinking actually he was bloody good. And I think Alvin's obviously the same. And he was just a stalwart for.
I mean, Ben, when did you? Was it 78? 78? Started playing.
Must have been, about that, yeah.
Yeah, but I remember him when we come back up 93. We was in the Premier League our first season back in the top flight.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind he was coming to the end of his career, and he was brilliant that season. I mean, he was immense, But I don't think he gets.
I think maybe also maybe because thinking about it objectively now, we're getting very deep, but I like this. Thinking he's not like Tony Cottee or McAvenny or Bishop or that lot who are still active. You know what I mean? Alvin does commentary. And he does that, and sometimes we get him out, and obviously we got him out to do the Billy Bonds PA for when we did the stand, but he's not like a prominent out there. So maybe his memory does get a bit sort of
under the radar a little
bit. Exactly. Yeah. And that's no disrespect to Alvin, but that's just he's Christ. The guy was, whenever he came down as a scouser, as a teenager. Stayed here. He's still in Orme Church and stuff, and it's weird because obviously his grandson is in the same year as my daughter, and so like a summer fate where like the parents and the grandparents like run the stalls, and Alvin Martin's doing the tombola. He's it's not a tombola, but you know what I mean. It's just weird. It's weird seeing outside of there, but he's a top man though, still top man. Right, okay, we'll put Julian in, we'll put Alvin in. Who's next?
Next centre half, club legend, Billy Bonds.
Billy Bonds.
there's not really much you can say about Billy Bonds that hasn't been said. Absolute club legend. For me, he's up there. Like, he's level with Bobby Moore in terms of greatest captains.
Yeah,
we've had at the club. Again, I mean, bearing in mind he was a centre mid for quite a large chunk of his time with us. But as a centre half, again, another one. People think he was all about the tackles, and another player who put his head in where. In fact, I believe in Alvin Martin's first game, I think Alvin Martin split his head open, like he went to clear the ball and cleared Billy Bond's head. I think the story is, but again, his passing was, he could play. He was good on the ball, but I think certainly fans of other clubs would maybe just think he was all about the tackling and the roughhousing and that. It wasn't the case at all.
No,
but
again, I think it's the same thing. It's don't forget also, there wasn't as many football games on tellies and stuff like that. So people did see the highlights, and the highlights would have probably involved him. It's more interesting telly watching him put something on a player rather than ping, or break up play with a good, rather than do something clever with the ball. It's not as entertaining. So naturally, that's how it all works. But I think, I mean, he's obviously a club legend. He's, obviously got the stand named after him. That was an amazing day. And I'm glad that happened. It was a long time that should have happened ago. But it's good that he's there and he'll be remembered because, in the same way that, when 20, 30 years on, there'll be less people who have seen Billy Bonds play, but you'll know Billy Bonds because he's got a stand named after him at the ground, and same as Bobby Moore and Trevor Brooking and stuff like that. So it's important to keep that sort of those memories going. So definitely. Right, we'll put Big Bill in. Who's been right back then? Who's right back?
Another 80s lad, Ray Stewart.
Tonka.
Oh, Tonka, yeah. Which, fun enough, my mate's granddad worked with his dad. He said, I think he said like that his granddad dropped some stuff. Ray Stewart's dad dropped some stuff around to my mate's dad.
Yeah,
like I said, Ray Stewart was outside in the car. He's like, Ray Stewart's outside my house. But again, he was a sort of like Julian Dix a little bit. He could put a tackle in there. Wasn't quite as good on the ball as Julian Dix. I still do seem to remember a couple of games where he'd sort of bend it out of play a few times. His crossing was a bit hit and miss. Like, sometimes it'd be an absolute welder into the back stick, other times in the north bank, or but again, another player that I mean, you're talking two that stand at me. 81 last minute in the League Cup final against Liverpool, and we get a penalty. Wouldn't want anyone else stepping up.
No.
Take it, absolute ice in his veins. Same quarter final 1980 Villa, last 5 minutes penalty. I think I only remember him missing one penalty, but he stuck the rebound in, so it didn't matter. It was against I think it was against Oxford. Keeper saved. I think the keeper pretty much ended up in the back of the net with it. Right? But yeah, he was he's another, a bit like sort of Timmy Breaker, like you say, solid. Sort of goes under the radar a little bit, but
I think, and that's what you want, isn't it? I mean, it's how much, when we say, when you're doing your post-match pints and all that type of stuff, and you just talk about commit, as fans, all we want is players who are going to put the shot on and have a go. And if they're not talented enough, it's not their fault that they've been picked to put in that. That's the manager's fault and that's the recruitment's fault. But as long as they have a go, and all five of the people you picked would you would not criticize their commitment, and that's what we want. And I think that's and that's when I ask people about who their hammer of the year is. Last 3 or 4 seasons, I reckon you say, who's your hammer of the year? Everyone would say one or two people, too far. But this year, they could easily be 4 or 5 because it's the
Mm.
same,
Yeah.
same as 85, 86 team. Who's your ham of the year then? People might say Cotty or Machiavelli or Stewart or there's like Billy, but not Billy, he didn't play, but Phil Parks. There's loads of people, and that's what we want to see, a team who are going to not just like one or two people. And Ray was part of a great team, and obviously still talks about West Ham and still loves the club and stuff. And he's a top boy, Ray.
Yeah.
I'll say that because he always watches. Top boy, Ray Stewart is a top boy. There we go. Thanks, Ray.
Listening, Ray. If he's listening,
he'll be listening.
Watching, I would love the opportunity to interview. I really would.
Yeah.
If he's
funny.
If
Yeah, he's funny. He's funny. He's a funny boy. Yeah, it's funny. It's like I mean, to be honest, as you said, you've been in the West Ham fan TV for a few years now, and obviously I'm new to it, and it still is weird when you get when the phone call comes and it will say like a player, and it's like it'll be like Ray Stewart, but okay, so I still can't get my head around it. It's really weird.
You've got to try and play it cool, because I've met like Phil Part, I've met a fair few players who I watched, and I was like, and now I'm sitting there thinking I'm talking to them, like, and I used to revere them, like from the terrace, like. Now I'm talking to them. It seems surreal, but
it's so weird. But they're all brilliant, aren't they? I mean, every one of them, whether they've played hundreds of games, whether they've played one game, or whether they haven't even played get onto the first team at all, and we're like youth team players. Everyone's amazing. Honestly, such a good, and it just, epitomizes the club, that all these people from different generations. And I'm the same, man. It's still, you try and play it all cool. And afterwards, I text away, oh my God, I've just interviewed Jackie Hislop. It's like, wow, or Trevor Sinclair.
That's the thing. Nice to meet you, and then like.
Exactly. I screenshot my picture, like try and and I always do it during the thing, and actually I should do it afterwards because I've recorded it. I was like, I'll just send it. It's brilliant. Yeah. But I love interviewing the people. I love, like, for me, I know we're really attracting a little bit, but I love interviewing the people who, like the people who don't usually get airtime. Do you know what I mean? Some play, Johnny Artson, Monks, Bish, all that lot. But I like interviewing people like we had Clive Clark on, and we had people like who else? I can't think of anyone now. My mind's gone completely blank. We've interviewed Elliot Ward or Luke Chadwick or these guys, who we would die to have been in their position. Lee Hodges. Lee Hodges made 6 first team appearances, and he was like, "Oh, I wish it was more." We would have died for like one, you know what I mean? And it's just like you got to wear it 6 times, and that's what I love, because they're just so open and just so much more. They're not used to doing the pods and stuff, so it's like the interview's a bit more like two blokes. Anyway, digress. Right, let's move into midfield. Who's your first midfielder then? Go.
Right, we're going left wing. Super Alan Devonshire.
Super Dev. Top boy.
What a player! What a player he was. I mean. When he got, but he just, well, like he was running, he was gliding across the pitch. And bear in mind, you think some of the pitches they used to play on, and they didn't get protected like they do now. Like they used to get absolutely clobbered. And he was something else. I mean, he could take 2-3 players out of a game, like in one move.
Yeah.
He was. I remember one goal he scored at Stamford Bridge, 4-0, 86.
Yeah.
He just drifted inside, just top corner. What a player he was! Absolutely fun. And if it wasn't for his serious knee injury, I do think he would have got a few more England caps.
Oh, definitely, most definitely. But then obviously getting injured turned him into the player that the 85-86 team were known for. Do you know what I mean? So and that would then benefit the 2 boys up front, because it was a different Alan Devonshire. And I know it's all like sliding doors moments, but he would have been $5,000 from Southall, wherever it was, Southall Motors, or whatever, transfer of the season, but the century transfer, of the millennium it was for what we got out of him. And again, still loves the club.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's a decent manager as well. But I remember when I met Phil Parks, and he was saying about because who was manager when he was at QPR? Was it Dave Sexton? Wasn't it?
Would have been probably, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently he went to see Devonshire when he was playing for the non-league team, played for Southall.
Southall, yeah.
And he went over to watch him, and then Phil Parks said he come back the next day, and he went, "You go, what did you make of that lad?" He went, "No, he said, I don't, like basically, I don't cut out for it." And then he said every time I saw him after that, like after West Ham had signed down, yeah, he went up to nuts, was he? But yeah, I mean, it's like you say, sliding door moments. He could have been a QPR player, and we wouldn't have got the, we wouldn't have had the success with him that we did have.
No, definitely not, man. And I think that's one thing about West Ham. We have these sliding doors moments. What could have been, if Scaloni had kicked the ball out rather than kicked it forward, we would have won the FA Cup that year. And if this person had done this, and if Neil Shipley hadn't been born, we would have gone up in the, the year before we went up, and then Carrick would have probably stayed with us that following season. Yeah, but that's what we've got. That's what we have to fall back on, because we haven't got in the trophy cabinet. So that's what I like. I like what could have been to West Ham. What could have been if we won the last 3 games. Just another one. But I'll put Dev on the left, man. Who's next?
Centre mid, Trevor Brooking, the first one.
Sir Trevor,
yes, by his correct title. Again, another player. Like I only got to see him sort of towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
But even when he got, like I was saying earlier about Dev, the pitches they used to play on and that, were awful. But when he got the ball, time seemed to stand still. He seemed to find the time and the space, and his range of passing was just sublime. I mean, I wasn't born. I was born a few months after this game. But the one my dad always said was the Eintracht Frankfurt, the Cup semi-final.
Yeah,
Trevor Brooking tore Eintracht to pieces. He scored the vital goal. I think got 2 that night. I think. But yeah,
I think so. Yeah, it's a game. It's a game that everyone claims to have been there. Everyone. I was there. There's about 200,000 people at the game apparently. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's a game that everyone still talks about in high regard.
Yeah. I mean, my dad was at that game, and he said it was. He said there was more people in there than probably the capacity should have been. He said because it was absolutely peak. And he said the atmosphere was. And funny enough, when I again talking about players, you said you like to interview players that don't always get the airtime. Met Kevin Locke, again, absolute gentleman, really nice fella, and all that. And we were talking about the Eintracht game. And my dad said that's the best atmosphere he's ever experienced over Upton Park. And Kevin Locke agreed. He said, I probably would have to say yes. It was, but Trevor Brooking that night, and on a bog of a pitch as well, it was absolutely first class. But
I think that's something that I haven't appreciated until I started doing these, because obviously you interview people and like guys like yourselves and even more experienced fans into the 60s and 70s, and it's the pitches. I don't think I really understood how crap the pitches were, and you watch people, as you said, like Dev and Brookie, and like glide, and I think the best players don't run, they glide. I remember I used to watch Henri when he was in his pomp at Upton Park, and he would be gliding, ice skating. That's how gentle he was when he was running. And it was you're right. I mean, I remember we interviewed, I think it was Macca, and he said we were talking about the pitches, and he went, go back and watch that 4-0 against Chelsea and see that sand. And it was like, it's just incredible. And I'd love to see. I don't know, it obviously never happened, but I'd love to how a Devonshire would perform at the Bowling Green at London Stadium, and vice versa. I'd love to see Messi on that Stamford Bridge pitch and see how it on Ronaldo, and see they'll probably turn an ankle with all that stuff. But it's crazy, absolutely crazy, man. Right, okay. So Trevor's in. Who's next?
Partner him in the middle, young Declan Rice.
Oh, okay.
We're going modern era now.
Nice.
I just think the way he's developed over the last couple of years has been phenomenal. I think he's turned into a better player than even many of us thought.
Yeah,
he would. he's international class now. You know, without a doubt, he's and he makes such a. I mean, you noticed it the other night against Brighton. You know, he a lot of the time stepped in, broke the play up. You know, on the edge of our box, and it was like, and Souček looks a little more comfortable having him in there alongside.
He looks more Souček-y, doesn't he, with him there? He looks more
Souček-y. Yeah. Because he hadn't looked himself without him in there, Souček. But yeah, Rice. I mean, it's proven like where he's had this little spell out of the team and how formed it, proves just how important he is to the side. But yeah, I mean, the way he's developed last 2 years, like I say, I think more than most of us thought he would. So, you know.
I mean, I remember him. I remember when he made his debut. And do you remember, obviously, Pellegrini put him into CDM role. And obviously, I'd watched him because obviously we used to we do like 3 or 4 under-23 games at the stadium and stuff. So I used to watch him as a commanding centre back and thinking he was just John Terry Mark II. He was just reminding me of John Terry and like his leadership and then obviously Pellegrini puts him as CDM and everyone was like, what? I remember everyone like going, what? But he just, and then he's just developed into this player that I think he would be absolutely wasted if someone put him back into centre back position now. You know, eventually, a bit like Billy Bonds. You know, Billy Bonds. You know, he'll drop back when the legs go. You know, and so to speak, and the engine stops a little bit. But I tell you, he's international class. He is. You know, in his position, I can't think of anyone on the world stage who is better than him. Really, in that position. You know, you look at it. You know, in that sort of defensive midfield. I mean, Kante's was the boy, wasn't he, at Chelsea? And you know, he's gone down, and you know, Busquets is a bit too old now, and you know, but he wouldn't. You know, I think he's brilliant. But what I love about him, Declan Rice is he's trying to develop his game. He doesn't want to just be known as a centre. You know, he was doing trying to do that knuckleball free kick type thing, which he'll probably carry on trying to do. You know, he's taking penalties. He's doing more forward runs. His passing is phenomenal.
Yeah. He's massively worked on his game. You know, on all aspects of the game. So
yeah,
he's fantastic.
I mean, 140 odd appearances now for the club or something ridiculous like that. You know, and
was he 21 still? 21, 22?
Yeah, I mean, something like that. I mean, you know, and again, you know, I think people forget literally how young he is sometimes. You know, when Mark's not in, you know, we all assume it's Declan Rice is going to be captain. The lad's 21. The lad can bear. You know, he can't even drink it. I think he's 22 now. He can barely drink in the USA now or gamble. You know, so. There's no question that he's going to be captain, and you know, and I think he will end up being England captain as well, easily, and if not at least vice captain, I think in the Euros. I think to be fair, but we'll see. Hopefully be around for a few more seasons. It'd be nice.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Oh dear, we'll see. Anyway, moving on. So we'll put Declan Rice in. Who is next then, Graham?
Right when we got Tricky Trev Sinclair.
Oh, that's it. We got Tricky Trev in now. That's good news.
Tricky Trev in. I mean, he was fantastic for us. Really. I mean, some of the goals. One goal I remember was it against Derby over a kick?
Yeah.
Derby? Mate, he didn't do tap-ins. He didn't do tap-ins.
He didn't. That's the one thing he did not do. Tap-ins. No, he didn't.
No, always scored an absolute screamer.
Yeah.
But again, when people go on about the Di Canio goal, they don't mention his pass.
Yeah.
You know, that crossfield putt was inch perfect.
Yeah.
You know, people forget that, and he was. I'll say he was great for us. You know, Tricky Trev. You know, he's a very skillful player.
Fantastic skillful player.
And the amount of goals he set up as well.
Oh yeah.
So recalling hatfuls of goals for people. You know, he was fantastic.
And similar to, as I was saying, similar to like Antonio in some respects, in that, you know, he played about half a dozen positions for us, you know, and England. Obviously, he was England on the left side, wasn't he, at the World Cup? And But every game we'd have we had Scott Minto on. I'm talking about random players. We had Scott Minto on the other day, and he was talking about how he used to hate Trevor playing right wing back, because he would play left wing back and be blowing after about 10 minutes, and Trevor could basically go up and down on his engine all game and like play another game afterwards. He was that fit, and he used to hate it. But he was and again, a guy who still loves the club, still really passionate about the club. No, firsthand how much he loved his time at West Ham, and how much he still loves West Ham fans. No, absolutely firsthand. He's an absolute legend. And but everywhere he's been, same as someone like similar to someone like Bish. Bish has been to Man City, he's still highly revered. Walsall, Tricky Trev's the same. QPR, Man City, West Ham, they all still love him. Obviously, his kids at Blackpool. I think he's just signed actually professional things or the next contract, YTS type thing. And top boy. And because we've put him in the team, right? He'll watch it. He'll watch this as well, and he'll like it because that's what he always does. I love Trev. I love him, and he was like the old. And I spoke about when I interviewed Trev. We talked about my granddad. As I said, he was blind as a bat. And we've been seeing things for years, season ticket holders, but he never knew any of the players' numbers. So he always used to have his his program at the back, and he'd mark it who he's playing. And for Trev, basically any black player at West Ham who did something good was Trevor Sinclair. It could have been Defoe, it could have been Xhaka, it could have been Mark Vivian Foe, it could have been any of them. If it was something was good, it was Trevor Sinclair. Bloody best player on the pitch. Only player on the pitch, Trevor Sinclair. And that's why I always had this sort of affinity with Trev because of that. Because it just reminded me of that happier times with my granddad. But and that was obviously a great time. That Redknapp era, wasn't it? It was so exciting, and the football was just phenomenal. Right, we'll put Tricky Trev in up front. Who's starting with, man?
First one, TC.
TC, yeah.
He's going in. Again, another player I've had the pleasure of meeting and interviewing. Again, absolute gentleman.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
I'm struggling to think of a strike we've had that's a more natural finisher over the years than Tony. He was in two spells. Even when he come back in his second spell, towards the end of his career, he was still banging them in.
Yeah.
Good player. And even though it broke my heart when he scored against us for Leicester and that, but
it was still him, though. It's still him, isn't it? And
he's so quite in it again. He's one of them players that he could go to. He went to another club, went to Everton and that, but still absolutely revered at West Ham. I was consistently top scorer in the time he was here. Every season, pretty much top scorer. So. And what makes it even more special is he come through the academy, or the youth team. So it's always nice when you get a homegrown player come through. Yeah,
you sort of get that extra. It's a bit like Declan Rice, isn't it? And we love a youngster coming through the academy, don't we? And someone obviously like TC scored his home debut as well, didn't he? His first debut. Tottenham, yeah. So therefore, it's like tick, tick, tick. You're a boy coming through the academy. You're a West Ham fan as well. Plus, you score your debut. Plus, it's a Tottenham. He could have just walked off then. Every time I went to a pub, I'd get a beer drink bought for him. Because of that. And it's. But I know what you mean. He's just a great lad, and he obviously loves the club. And he's a good laugh. He's a good laugh.
Yeah,
loves his stats though, doesn't he? He loves his stats. So
he has to do his job, doesn't
he? I remember. Cause I was like shitting myself. I was like, someone said he's really likes his stats, so make sure you get. So I thought I got them all right, and I think I said he had 7 England caps and he had 8, or I said he had 8 and he had 7. And I was like, couldn't believe it. Let myself down right at the end. Got the goals, got everything else right, and as soon as it's like his England appearances, like fucking Wikipedia. But I don't look at anything West Ham in Wikipedia, but I thought the England cats would have worked, but no, must miscalculate. But anyway, I'll put TC in. Top man TC. And who's going to be the last player? Shall I type in Jonathan Clary now? That's the question.
Zaza.
Yeah.
No, this one, Paolo Di Canio. Had to be really. This was one of the positions I was really torn on because it was Di Canio or McAvenny.
Oof.
Because McAvenny, like, when him and TC was up top, I worshipped them two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was over my two of my favourite players, but you can't leave Di Canio out, can you? Really?
No.
He's one of them players. He just, as soon as he gets on the ball, you're off your seat, waiting for something to happen. He could do nothing for 20, 30 minutes of a game, get the ball at his feet, and all of a sudden, the magic, and you're off your feet, and the crowd are going. I mean, we spoke about it earlier with Tricky Trev's pass,
Yeah,
the goal against Wimbledon. I mean, how many players could pull that off? Really, if we're being honest, not many,
not at all.
not many. And it was the way that fell to him as well. That was pretty much on his wrong foot.
Yeah. Well, it was
Most
funny because
players would have let that come across them and then try it, but no, not.
no, we interviewed Ian Foyer and we was talking, and he was talking about the Canyon, and we talked about that goal, and he was like, yeah, well, what no one tells you. So, and Ian Foyer takes full credit for that goal. He says, what no one tells you about it is we spent 3 hours on the Friday because Di Canio had it in his head, Pele, that he was going to score a goal like this. So he was doing this thing for like 2 or 3 hours. He was in goal. He had some youth team player like doing the passes, and obviously when he scored it, the camera doesn't pick it up, unfortunately, but apparently he runs over to Ian and goes, "That's for you," and gives him a cuddle. Right? I was like, "Oh, bullshit! That's a total bullshit here." And no, honestly, I tell you, it's true. It was like, and I could so see that. He did it once in training, scored, and he said, "Right, I'm gonna score this next week," and he was that confident that he knew he was going to do it. And but he was, I mean, Paolo was Paolo, wasn't he? When you talk about Paolo, you have to smile. You have to smile because of the joy he brought us, and the frustration as well. As you said, he made like 90.
Go on, man.
No, you carry on.
Like I say, it wasn't fantastic every single game.
No.
But when he was, something else.
Unstoppable, wasn't he? Unstoppable, man. And he was. He just gave us that, that sort of that belief that we could, we had, I mean, he was, as you said, he was a person who could just turn a game on a dime, and he was, but we love it. We love one of those sort of crazy players. We didn't, but we hadn't really had one for a long time. I couldn't think, I mean, Joe wasn't a maverick as such. He was but he was like this guy. He was just a temperamental guy. And obviously then we sort of developed, and we haven't really had one like him since. We had obviously, Diamante for a little bit, Pyatt, but didn't have that sort of crazy side to him. He was just a fantastically skillful player. Arnautovic a little bit, because he had that sort of arrogance about him. I mean, Paolo was an extremely arrogant player. He knew he was better than him, and he was going to make him look like an idiot, and that's what he did. And that's why we loved him. Yeah, exactly. But you would pay you'd pay your season ticket to go and see him because he was entertaining. And for me, that period, that Redknapp era, was the last time that football was fun, in my opinion. Because you had like Sinks, you had Di Canio, you had Ian Wright, you had Razor, you had Monks. You could, they were all characters. I remember doing. It wasn't even called the lap of appreciation then; it was a lap of honor. That changed. It became the lap of appreciation. And I remember like Razor, like he was in the squad, and he wasn't in the squad, so he turned up suited and booted. I think Monks was suited and booted, and by the time they'd done their lap of honor, they were naked almost by their pants. They were throwing their shoes into the crowd, and it was fun. Football was fun. They'd go out on Christmas nights out and get drunk, and it was all and then get arrested or whatnot. And it was all fun. It was before the internet, for all this social media malarkey. That was the trouble.
Really? Oh, they couldn't do that. I mean, I've seen interviews with him, right, and he said the most fun he's had in football was when he was with us. He said that was the best dressing room he's ever been involved with. Just because of they had a laugh, but it showed on the pitch. That they enjoyed the football.
And that's what it was, and that's what I remember we saying when we were talking to Trev. And I said, you were, because obviously that's the last. Ironically, that was the last time we finished inside the top 6 for 22 years or something like that in the Premier League. And arguably, we'll probably be another year. Cause we'll probably finish 7th this year. And I was saying to Trev, he's like, yeah. To be honest, Russ, if Harry would I think every Tuesday, I think they're a Tuesday night club where they would go out for a drink on a Tuesday. So Harry wouldn't put training on a Wednesday. And he was like, to be honest, if he hadn't done that, we could have been in the top 3. We could have surpassed the 85, the boys of 86 team. He says, but it helped us and bonded us together. And I asked Razor the same question, and he said, yeah, but at the end of the day, I didn't go out for a beer. Well, I don't really believe him, but I didn't go out for a beer Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday night because I could know I'd have a beer on a Tuesday night. So, it was sort of like it was a team bonding thing, and they'd get all the youth team players out, like Adam Newton and stuff, would all turn up, and they'd get them drunk and all that. And that was part and parcel of that mentality. And I saw it both ways. But yeah, it was last time football was fun. I've said it. There we go. Right, where's the team? I've got a team. Where is it? There's a team. Oh, no pissing about the Europa Conference with that one, I'll tell you, mate.
That's not a bad side, is it?
That is not bad at all, Gray.
That's
not bad at all, my buddy. And it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure, Gray.
It's been an absolute honour and a pleasure to be on.
An hour and 15 has flown by. It's flown by. Always does when you have fun.
For another hour.
Oh, I don't need to pace yourself. That's actually on a Friday. That's it. You get your 2.5 hours. You get all your. I don't want to sort of take any of your chatting on, because obviously you got Friday, you got big, obviously last game of the season, so probably do like an end of season review or whatever. So I'll leave you to just I want you to be match fit for then.
Well, hopefully, mate, it won't be too long before we can all meet up after the game for a beer in person, mate.
Oh, Ryan keeps texting me wanting a beer. Yeah. I think he actually fancies me. He keeps texting me for a beer. But yeah, I know what you mean. I can't wait. I'm literally, I don't think I'm going to be, the amount of beers everyone's, oh yeah, we should go for a beer. Yeah. I'm going to be booked up to about 2023 by the looks of it. But anyway, I don't mind. It'd be nice, hopefully. Well, at least this will go out on Tuesday, so at least you can go inside a pub now. Because it's on Monday, isn't it? So you'll be go inside. You have to sit outside of an umbrella. You can go inside for a drink now, which is good. But I think I might stay outside for a little bit. Stay outside for a little bit.
Well, we're going to get nicer, isn't it? So
yeah. Oh, yeah. Should be, man. It's my daughter's birthday soon, and my wife's birthday. My daughter's birthday at the end of the month, around May Day, and weather's always good then. Well, this time last year, we had the pool out, and it was like boiling hot last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
thing on Facebook when it's like time hop thing, and it was like I was outside like boiling last year. Not today. Got my jumper on. Anyway, for myself and from Graham, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get those jabs when you get your appointments. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much love.